Laura Enever burst onto the international surfing scene when she won the junior world title as an 18-year-old on her local beach in Narrabeen back in 2010. She soon went pro and established herself as a force to be reckoned with in world surfing. A victory at the 2015 Australian Open of Surfing in Manly was a career highlight. After 7 years on tour, Laura switched her focus to big wave surfing. And despite some brutal wipeouts along the way, she's become an inspiration for other women in the sport's most dangerous pursuit. Her determination to push the limits was rewarded last year when she made history in Hawaii, setting the Guinness World Record for the biggest wave paddled into by a woman at 13.3 metres. This year she returned to Tasmania's notorious Shipstern Bluff, showcasing her incredible skill and guts on one of the world's most feared breaks. Only a few weeks ago, Laura was crowned Big Wave Surfer of the Year at the awards in Portugal, capping off a remarkable 12 months for one of Australia's most talented and courageous athletes. And Laura Enever joins us right now. Welcome. Yay. Lovely to have you here.
Thank you so much. Pulled the archives out there.
Oh, I know.
That was awesome.
What a voiceover as well. Hey, the big question I have to ask you is, when you see that kind of footage, how long can you hold your breath for?
Oh, I mean, it depends. Right now, probably like 30 seconds, but usually when I'm at my peak breath hold training, 3.5 minutes.
3.5 minutes?
Yeah.
Do you practice underwater or just driving through tunnels like my kids?
Well, I literally used to do the tunnel when I was a kid, and then, but now I do in the water, in the pool, and I've got an amazing breath hold coach, and I feel like me and my brother used to push each other when we were kids as well, like always just like competitive, and then, now I've got an amazing breath hold coach that, really pushes me in the pool. We do like a lot of either static breath hold training or just, when your heart rate's up, because your heart rate's never going to be low when you're surfing the big waves. So you've got to practice swim 50 metres as fast as you can and then try to hold your breath after.
Have you ever wiped out and been held under and thought, I'm getting close here, I'm in trouble?
Yeah, there was one wipeout that I think they showed at the start, and that was in Piahi at Jaws in Maui, and it was one of my first sort of big wave experiences over there, and I got held down and I almost felt like I got dragged under the wave. Like I wasn't going deep, I was just getting kind of just stuck in the wave, and I remember going back to my training, trying to be
This is the wave here?
Yeah, this one, yeah. Trying to be really calm, but it sucked me over, and then you just, I guess in the training, you just flick a switch. That's like what we've been taught really, is like once you fall and it's, you're going to be under for a while, there's no point trying to freak out. You just got to let it take you and try to have fun. Just
she whispered.
I was just thinking how crazy I sound. I'm like, you actually have to try to, enjoy the underwater roller coaster of getting absolutely pounded. And I even on that another wave after that one, just the sheer force of the wave actually tore my MCL, and that was my first ever experience in big waves. And so I literally had this crazy wipeout, tore my MCL.
I'm coming back for more of this.
Why? I know. And then after that, quit the tour and decided I wanted to be a big wave surfer, which makes me sound.
Sorry, while we're talking wipeouts, because we've got another vision here. Was it Cloud Break as well? There was a pretty good one. We can have a look at.
Good wipeout at Cloud Break here. Yeah, that was at the start of the year. That one actually really hurt as well. I feel like I got stuck under the water for a while there, and the next wave, there was like 6 of them behind. So
you're going under. There's also the weight of the water that can, rip your legs apart, and there's the roar too. What about the sound? What's that like in there?
No, it is. It's all very loud. Like even I wear my helmet now, but it's just, I think just being out there amongst these waves is just it's such a wild experience. And I think I always say I just want to go there and then make my mind up on the day if I want to give it a shot. Like when I went to Cloud Break this year, I arrived there and the waves looked so intense that day. Cloud Break's one of the heaviest waves in the world, and even though they weren't the biggest waves I'd seen, just the way the reef is, it's just really unforgiving and super heavy, and breaks on really fire coral, it's like sharp reef. And I that day was like, I don't know if I'm feeling this, and then I ended up waiting all day, and then eventually went out and got some good ones eventually. But came home with cuts and bruises and felt like I'd been hit by a bus. And then, but you just stoked. Like it somehow is so worth it. And everyone asked me, they're like, how, like, yeah, it's just catching and riding those waves, and eventually, you know, all the challenges and all the hardships and all the, you know, wipeouts and everything, when you finally make one of those waves, you're like, oh my gosh, can't wait for the next one.
Laura, talk to us about your the world record for paddling into a wave. About that wave, you've spoken also about your training. How much visualisation goes into it as well?
Yeah, well, I think visualisation for me is one of the biggest things. You know, obviously physical training, breath hold training gives me like confidence that no matter what I'm under the water, I'll be able to manage myself. And then the visualisation is the only way that, you know, before you've surfed one of these waves, it was a massive key to me surfing ship sterns. And even when I went to Tahiti this year and towed there, the only way to imagine, yeah, like what I'm going to do when I let go of the rope or paddle into the wave is by visualising it and trying to trick my brain into thinking that I've done it before.
And do you only visualise the outcome, or do you visualise what you would do if you got yourself into a bad situation? Like, is it all that?
I mean, I try to visualise making the wave, and then, yeah, I think once I've, you know, made a mistake, and
this
then
is ship stern.
Yeah, this is ship sterns this year, and yeah, that was a pretty special trip, that one. But yeah, I try to, you know, you can visualise the worst that can happen. You have to always be prepared, you know, for those tricky situations, and that's why we do our training, and everyone does their safety courses and has their teams. And I think the whole safety side of big wave surfing has, you know, just come leaps and bounds in the last 10 years since I even started, and everyone takes it very seriously. I have an incredible safety team at every stop, which is awesome.
Will you do the
Sometimes
physical...
it's my brother who I'll bring along and be like, all right, just save me, just get a ponytail and just rip me off the reef.
He was going to be who I was going to ask you about, and sort of your wider family and friends, because you've done, you mentioned it before, the physical training, the breathwork training, the mental training, the safety courses. They haven't done any of that visualisation or training. How do they go, sort of sending you off out into the water and hoping for the best? Are they good watchers?
I mean, yeah, my family is amazing. I think they're used to me doing this now, but I think at the start, I remember I sent my dad the world record photo, which I didn't actually think anyone even saw the wave when I caught it, that wave in Hawaii, and then I got this Instagram message like 4 days later, yeah, and it was from a photographer that said, I saw your wave, I shot it, sent me this photo and was like, I think it was the biggest wave paddled by a woman. And when I sent it to my dad, he was just like, oh my gosh, get home right now, be grounded.
So 13.3 metres in the old, that's over 40 foot.
Yeah.
That is a massive wave.
Growing up, when you were, you know, a younger girl, were you one of those kids that would just charge everything, do everything?
Yeah, I actually was. I grew up, you know, obsessed with gymnastics. Then I got into acrobatics, trampolining. I loved nippers. I was a really strong board paddler, and I feel like I also had an older brother, and I was just trying to keep up with him constantly. And we did all the same sports, and I think those sports as a kid, they just... I remember one time thinking, oh, I want to be a skydiver or like do something extreme like that. Then I was like, I'm a surfer. Why don't I just surf big waves and get that rush from that?
And you do it brilliantly. Just quickly, what's next for you?
So home now, into training camp and boot camp before Hawaii. And so basically this year I've got invited into the Eddie Aikau event, which is a prestigious big wave event.
That hasn't happened every year, does it?
No,
when they get the right waves.
Yeah, they have to wait. It had like a 5-year gap a couple of years ago, and basically the waves need to be, you know, about 40 feet. I actually caught this wave on the last Eddie swell, and that was back in 2023. So. Yeah, I'm excited to get over there and hopefully get my shot at surfing in the Eddie.
Well, we hope you do too. Congratulations on all that you've done, and with your bugle playing, which we didn't even get to.